I'm Gillian, Hustler Honey. I'm in Vancouver, Canada. And on that side is Maureen. She's in Zurich, Switzerland. Okay, let's go right away to the clip of Matusow. I read the dialogue first before I saw the clip. And when I read the dialogue, I was like, oh my God. But then when I actually heard him say it, I felt like it was he has no intention of doing this thing. It's more of a rambling rant.
This motherfucker, Wolverine 17, I'm gonna fuck him right in his fucking ass, man.
Goes off at this person who turns out to be female. He didn't know that at the time. So once he did know her name, by the way, and know who it was, he did continue to then tweet her, learn poker etiquette or your career won't last long. Sincerely, Mike. He has poker etiquette?
I actually know her, and she is one of the sweetest person out there. For a lot of the women's group were quite upset about his behavior and that no disciplinary action was taken. And people asked, why don't more women play poker? This is a perfect example, etc., etc.
Yeah. Does the World Series of Poker have the authority to ban players from future events? 100% they do, and they use that. And that was one of my issues with this whole thing is they have banned people for a lot less. So I think it's partly embarrassment that he streamed this and you really couldn't have played the hand much worse. This is honestly disgusting. Makes me feel sick to my stomach. How can you do that? How many years have you been doing this shit? Honestly, how can you play ace queen that bad?
So he is playing on WSOP.com. The broadcast has nothing to do with WSOP.com, particularly on his private YouTube channel.
And we will mention that he does apologize the next day. We're going to follow that topic of rants. So Daniel was streaming, and now his rant, it wasn't at someone.
So basically, Daniel is streaming during the WSOP. It started to freeze up, and then he started, hitting his screen and what's wrong with this? And then he started screaming, beep, 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 beep. I don't even want to repeat it. And then he made his poor doggies upset. Aww. And then all of a sudden he changed his tune and he was like, oh, come here, baby. Daddy's not mad at you. No. Daddy's mad at WSOP. So
yeah, I do think people enjoy watching that and they can relate the pain. Now, the language, I think that's just a personal take, whether you can handle it or not. And I think it's definitely his prerogative on his stream. I'd like to think of Twitch as the new media form. So you have channels like HBO where they're going to use that type of language, and then other channels that they don't. And about the Phil Ivey thing, Kelly's son, who was an associate of Phil Ivey's, was able to recognize which cards were 6s, 7s, and 8s. And they went around Europe and the United States and made millions until it all came to a halt. Then Borgata is in Atlantic City, then sued Bill, and then Borgata won. This week we just found out that they finally reached a settlement.
Now, in the articles, it did say that he settled, but I didn't see any details of the settlement. So now now we're transitioning to WSOP bracelet updates. All right. So event number 9, the 1K No Limit Hold'em 6 Max. Roland McMillen, he took down the event. And before this, he actually only played live games. So this was the first time ever that he played online, and he actually wound up heads up against Ryan Torgerson. The next Cinderella story has to do with Ryan. So basically, this One Limit Hold'em 1K 6 Max took place. The very next day was the 600 Monster Stack. And Ryan basically wound up in the heads up again, and this time he took down the event. So I think next up is the crazy event, which almost put me in a chicken suit.
We each took players. I only have one playing WSOP.com, and that's Chance KORNUTH. And guess who was heads up in the 500 No Limit Turbo Deep Stack?
I didn't even know that he was in the final table. I was basically dead asleep because of the time difference. I woke up to your tweet, Gillian, oh, he almost got you in the chicken suit. I'm like, oh my God. And at one point for Chance, he was down to less than an ante, and then kept on doubling and doubling and doubling and doubling. So I think for him getting his second place, yes, it is disappointing he didn't get the bracelet, but at one point he was almost out. Yeah. Now, funny enough, the event that Chance got second in, it was the first non-US winner.
In the interest of fairness, here's a breakdown of how much of the field gets paid.
15%, that was a new rule that WSOP changed last year. They also made all their WSOP circuit events a 15% payout instead of 10. If you ask pro players versus recreational/fun players, pros always want the 10% payouts.
Yeah, or less.
Well, where can I find the payouts for the GG series? And are you paying 15%, 10%, or a different percentage of the field? Payouts will appear in the bracelet event lobbies when they are finalized. This will be well before the start of the event, so players can unregister if they wish.
That sounds like they just haven't decided, right?
For the WSOP.com events, there won't be a player of the year. What they have instead is this leaderboard. The entire leaderboard is worth $100K.
Is deal making permitted at World Series of Poker bracelet event final tables? This has been a question we've been wondering for a while. No, deals are not permitted when a bracelet is at stake.
What I haven't found is more information on this People's Choice event.
Oh, yeah. Where it just says bracelets are for poker players, vote for your favorite.
Yeah, so still no information.
If the border's shut, how are Americans getting to Mexico to play it? I talked to a player. He said they're renting a private plane and they're flying down, a bunch of them.
Oh.
So yeah.
Wow.
The party poker updates.
Party Poker will stop the player-to-player transfers on the platform. That they say it was because of regulatory demands that player-to-player transfers be stopped. 888 also stopped the player-to-player transfers. So just keep that in mind for the upcoming WPT series. If you need to play in larger buy-in events, please start uploading your deposits now.
I joked on Twitter this week, like the number one question I get asked, it's always, hey, can you transfer me money into my account from either Party or PokerStars? So now I don't have to answer that.
Yeah, so this is a series that's going to compete with the WSOP on GG Poker. So this has over 100 million in guarantees starting July 17th to September 8th in conjunction with WPT.
And we're starting in Asia in Taiwan.
So in Taiwan, you can play poker, not at casinos, but at private poker clubs. They're running the Taiwanese Million event. It started on July 3rd and runs through July 20th. So their main event actually started yesterday, July 12th. It has 5-day ones, and it's planning to end on July 20th. If you wanted to go to Taiwan to play, you would need an English language certificate of a negative COVID-19 test taken within 3 days, and then you would also need to home quarantine for 14 days. Our next destination, we're also staying in Asia. We have Vietnam. So Hanoi did have this big series. So Much Poker did highlight the winners for us. So the main event had a $380 buy-in. It attracted 390 players, and the winner took home about 28,000 US dollars. And the winner was Van Chung Nguyen. The fourth place to play poker in Vietnam, which is Phu Quoc. Newly built casino. It's called the Corona Casino.
Well, that's what I was so confused by. I'm like, are we on the right slide? Are we talking about Corona regulations? Yeah. What is going on here?
That is the name of the casino. And at the moment, since March 22nd, foreigners are not allowed entry. We're going to pop over to Europe.
Okay, guys. Wait. What flag is that? What flag is that? Is it the wrong flag?
I think so. I can't believe I made this mistake. I'm really, really, really sorry. But if you want to go, it's Bratislava in Slovakia. So they basically have two big series coming up. One at Rebuy Stars. That's where I'm trying to send you, to Bratislava, Slovakia.
Oh, not Slovenia. Okay. Now I'm all confused too.
All right. So then we have King's Casino again in Czech Republic. I definitely got that flag and country correct for sure. We just got the message that events are now capped. Please book your tickets ahead of time. Yeah, so just to point out, they had 19 tables running when I took that
And
screenshot.
1025.
And at one point, yeah. So I thought you would like the limits.
Yeah. That... Does anyone know what flag this is? Sorry, go ahead. Go back to Vegas. I was just proud that we actually knew what a flag was.
About the rumors last week of possibly Vegas shutting down. So that did not turn into Vegas shutting down. What it did turn into is the rules on bars being open wound up changing. Many bars are kind of trying to get around the rules by saying, oh, but we serve peanuts.
So the strip clubs are going to have to wait for a while. Although strip clubs often serve food, don't they?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week.
Twitch chat made me do it!